The stars above Earth were quiet the night the NIGMA Empire arrived. Their ship didn't look like anything humans had seen before. It was smooth, black, and shaped like a long blade. It hovered outside the moon's orbit, not moving, not speaking. But humans noticed right away. The United Human Alliance met the moment quickly. They sent their best team into space, not to fight, but to talk. Captain Laura Mitchell led the mission. She was calm, smart, and didn't trust easily. With her was General Eric Dalton, older and quiet, a man who had seen too many battles to believe in peace. When the NIGMA ship opened, a door slid up without a sound. 3 of them stepped forward. They were tall, thin, and their skin looked like cracked stone. Their faces had no eyes, just a dark screen that seemed to glow from the inside. Their voices were not loud, but cold, like metal being scraped. They didn't ask to speak. They gave orders. "You will surrender your skies," the NIGMA said. "Your kind is not ready for the stars." Captain Mitchell kept her voice steady. "Earth belongs to no one but us." The tallest alien tilted its head. "We are not asking." General Dalton stepped forward, eyes locked on the alien leader. "Then you'll regret coming here." There was a moment of silence, the kind that feels like a storm just before it breaks. Then the NIGMA turned and walked back into their ship. The door closed without a sound, and the ship vanished. Back on Earth, the message was clear. War was coming. The Human Alliance didn't panic. They acted. Quietly, every colony was placed on high alert. Hidden defense platforms were activated around the Moon and Mars. Satellites that once watched the weather now watched deep space. Captain Mitchell met with the Defense Council. "We don't know when," she said, "but they will strike. We must be ready." General Dalton nodded. "We give one warning, just one." A message was sent into the stars. It was short and sharp. "To the NIGMA Empire, do not test humanity. You will not like what comes next." The NIGMA did not respond. In the days that followed, Earth's skies stayed quiet. Children played, cities moved on. But above the calm, hundreds of ships waited in orbit, crews trained in silence, weapons stayed cold but loaded. Everyone hoped for peace, but they prepared for war. The attack came without warning. The NIGMA did not send a message. They did not show their ships in Earth's skies. Instead, they hit the colony on Mars. It happened during the early hours. Most people were sleeping. The sky above the colony turned red, not from the Martian dust, but from fire. Explosions rocked the ground. The colony's towers fell like paper. No one had time to run. In less than 10 minutes, everything was gone. Over 1 million people died that day. Mothers, fathers, children, all gone. The few who survived sent weak signals back to Earth before the communication lines were cut. The news spread fast. All of Earth stopped. No one spoke. No one moved. Even the Defense Council stayed quiet for a long moment. Then they acted. General Dalton stood before the war table. His hands were shaking, but his voice was strong. "They think we are weak," he said. "They believe we will cry and beg, but they don't understand us. Not yet." Captain Mitchell walked into the room. She had just returned from the orbit station. Her eyes were red, but her voice was clear. "Activate Project Eclipse," she said. A long silence followed her words. Then the council members nodded. Project Eclipse was never spoken about in public. It was Earth's secret plan for a silent war. No large fleets, no public attacks. Only shadows and strikes that left no trace. It was made for one thing only: complete removal of a threat. Commander Nathan Cole was put in charge of Eclipse. He had trained in secret for years. He did not ask questions, he just gave orders. "Cut all signals," he said. "We go dark." Earth's ships shut off their lights. They left their stations in silence, jumping into deep space using hidden wormhole gates. No one knew where they were going except the commanders. Back on Earth, people held candles for the lives lost on Mars. They cried, they prayed, but they did not forget. Captain Mitchell looked up at the stars. "They want to play God," she said, But they forgot something. General Dalton stood beside her. "What's that?" he asked. "We're human," she said. "We don't give up. We strike back." And so, while the NIGMA watched and waited for fear, Earth gave them silence. But that silence was full of fire. In the dark side of the moon, hidden far from any telescope, Earth's strongest ships waited. These were not the normal defense ships that patrolled space. These were dreadnoughts, huge war machines with thick armor, long-range weapons and silent engines. They had never been used before. Now, they were ready. Captain Laura Mitchell stood inside the command center of the ship Vigilant Star. Around her, crew members worked quickly but quietly. No one shouted. No one smiled. They all knew what this mission meant. Far from the moon, in deep space, Commander Nathan Cole led a small group of black ships. Their mission was different. No big battles, no lights, just silence and shadows. They were heading to the Asa Nebula, a place filled with gas clouds and old stars. There, the NIGMA had a stronghold, a place where they sent out orders and watched nearby systems. Lieutenant Paige Monroe was part of that team. She had trained for this mission her whole life. Her face was calm, but her heart beat fast. She knew they had one chance. If they failed, the NIGMA would find Earth's secret ships. If they succeeded, the enemy would never see the next attack coming. "Check comms," she said to her team. "No signals. We go in dark." The black ships entered the nebula, using the gas clouds to hide. They moved like shadows, silent and smooth. After 2 hours, they reached the NIGMA outpost. It was larger than they thought, a massive ring floating near a dying star. Lights blinked along its edges. Ships came and went, but no one saw the humans coming. Paige gave the order. "Send the virus." Her team uploaded a silent program into the NIGMA's system. It spread fast, unseen. It didn't destroy anything. It just turned off cameras, cut links, and broke the connection to the main NIGMA network. Then they left, as quietly as they came. Back near Earth, General Dalton received the message. "The eye is blind," it said. He looked at Captain Mitchell. "They won't know what's coming," she nodded. "Start Phase 2. Across the galaxy, Earth's ships began to move. They didn't make noise, they didn't leave a trace, but they were coming. Not for a fight, not for peace, for revenge. The first human attack came without warning. A NIGMA ship traveling through deep space suddenly stopped. It did not explode. It did not send out a signal. It just vanished. No wreckage, no escape pods, nothing. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. At first, the NIGMA thought it was a mistake, maybe the ship had a system error. But then another ship disappeared. And then 2 more. The NIGMA started to panic. On Earth, the human alliance stayed silent. They sent no messages. They showed no ships. But behind the silence, the real war had begun. Admiral Zoe Chambers, one of Earth's top commanders, watched the map in front of her. Red lights marked NIGMA ships and outposts. One by one, the lights went out. "Status?" she asked. 6 NIGMA cruisers lost. No response. "No survivors," an officer replied. Zoe gave a small nod. "Keep moving. Don't stop." At the same time, Earth launched Phase 2, Psychological War. Human satellites took over NIGMA signals. Across their empire, screens blinked to life. Strange sounds played through speakers. Old human songs, broken into pieces and played backward, echoed through NIGMA ships. The same phrase repeated in different voices. "We warned you. The NIGMA." Soldiers began to feel fear. Some stopped following orders. Others fired at their own systems, thinking the humans had already gotten inside. Their leaders shouted for calm, but no one listened. In the shadows of the stars, Paige Monroe and her team watched from a hidden ship. "They're breaking," she said quietly. "They don't understand what's happening." Commander Cole sent a message back to Earth. "Their minds are falling before their ships." General Dalton read the report. He didn't smile. He didn't cheer. He just said one word. "Good." The NIGMA tried to send backup to their outer colonies. But every ship they sent disappeared. Sometimes a broken piece floated back. Sometimes nothing did. They started to close their borders, trying to hide. But it was too late. Earth had already moved inside. No fleets, no battles. Just slow, silent removal. The NIGMA had believed humans would beg for mercy. Instead, they vanished into shadows and came back as something the galaxy had never seen before. Something cold. Something silent. Something deadly. And they never said another word. It started with silence. One colony after another stopped sending messages. NIGMA stations that once lit up the stars went dark. There were no signs of war, no smoke, no bodies, just silence. At first, the NIGMA leaders believed it was a network problem. They tried to fix it. They sent ships to check. Those ships never returned. Panic began to grow. NIGMA citizens looked to their leaders, but the leaders had no answers. Fear spread across their worlds like fire. Ships were grounded. Cities were locked down. Even the most loyal soldiers were afraid to fly. On Earth, Admiral Zoe Chambers stood at the command table. She looked at a report sent from deep space. 65% of the NIGMA's empire is offline, her officer said. No messages, no signs of movement. Zoe stared at the screen. And we've only used half of our force. She walked over to a small display showing the last message received from a human Black Ops team. It showed something strange. Etched into the side of a gray moon in the NIGMA's territory, 4 words had been burned into the surface. We warned you first. Captain Mitchell saw the image and said nothing. Her silence spoke louder than words. Across the galaxy, other alien civilizations were watching. Many had feared the NIGMA for centuries. Now they watched an empire fall without a single major battle. Whispers filled the stars. Where are the humans? Why do they not speak? Are they using some ancient power? But no one had answers. One small race, the Arvalans, sent a secret message to Earth. They did not offer help. They offered peace. We respect your strength, it said. We ask only to not be next. Earth did not reply. Back in space, a lone scout ship from the NIGMA entered a dead system to investigate. The crew found an empty station. No damage, no life. Just one symbol scratched into the wall, the old Earth symbol for silence. Then the scout ship lost power. No warning, no reason. It drifted until it disappeared into a dark cloud. The last message from the NIGMA's Central Council was simple. Help. Us, but no one answered. Not Earth, not their allies, not even their enemies. The galaxy was learning a lesson. When humans go quiet, something terrible follows, and now, the NIGMA were learning it too. There was no war left to fight. The NIGMA empire, once proud and powerful, had gone quiet. No ships moved, no colonies answered. Their homeworld was dark. No one knew what happened to them. It was as if they had vanished from the galaxy. There was no big battle, no final message. Just silence. On Earth, the Defense Council met one last time. The war was over, but no one cheered. The room was quiet. Everyone looked tired. Captain Laura Mitchell sat at the table. Her hands were folded. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. General Eric Dalton stood and spoke. They're gone, he said. We don't know where. We don't know how. But they're not a threat anymore. Admiral Zoe Chambers added, other species are watching. Some are scared. Some want to speak with us. Captain Mitchell looked around the room. We say nothing, she said. No details, no answers. The less they know, the safer we are. The others agreed. A short message was sent to the Intergalactic Council. It said, the conflict is finished. Earth will not pursue further action. That was all. No celebration, no speeches, no names shared. Back home, people returned to their lives. The news only said that Earth was safe again. The truth stayed hidden. Only a few knew the full story. In the far reaches of space, ships were recalled. Dreadnoughts came back to the moon's shadow. Black Ops teams disappeared from unknown systems. Project Eclipse was shut down and locked away. Files were sealed. Records erased. Lieutenant Paige Monroe stood in a quiet hangar, looking at her gear. She placed her helmet on the shelf and walked away without a word. The galaxy moved on, but it moved carefully. Alien leaders who once ignored Earth now sent peaceful messages. Some asked for trade, others offered alliances, but no one threatened. Earth had changed. It was no longer just another young world. It was something else now. Something stronger. Something feared. Captain Mitchell stood alone, watching the stars. "They wanted to control us," she said softly. "Now they're gone and no one even knows how." General Dalton walked beside her. "They made a choice," he said. "And they paid for it." Captain Mitchell nodded. "Let this be a warning. We don't start wars, but we always finish them." And then, without another word, they both walked away. Years passed. The name NIGMA Empire became a story told in quiet voices. No one had seen or heard from them since the war. Their worlds were empty, their ships were gone. No one found their bodies. It was like they had never existed. A group of human explorers was sent to one of the old NIGMA systems. Their ship, Horizon Light, carried scientists, soldiers, and a small team of researchers. Daniel Brooks, a quiet and curious xenoarchaeologist, led the group. When they landed on the planet, they found nothing. No cities, no machines, no people. Everything was clean, untouched, and still. "It's like they left on purpose," one of the team members said. Daniel walked through what used to be a large command base. The doors still worked, the walls were clean, but there was no sign of a fight, no damage, no blood, just silence. He stopped in the center of the building and looked at the floor. There, scratched into the metal, were 4 deep lines, the same symbol seen before on the NIGMA moon. "We warned you first." Daniel stared at it for a long time. "I don't think we did this alone," he whispered. "I think we used something old, something we didn't fully understand." He never said those words in his report. Back on Earth, the sealed files of Project Eclipse remained locked. Only a few had access. Even fewer understood the full truth. Captain Mitchell had retired. She lived near the sea, far from the noise of politics and war. But sometimes, late at night, she would look up at the stars and wonder what really happened to the NIGMA. General Dalton had passed away quietly, his records cleared and private. Lieutenant Paige Monroe trained a new generation of silent warriors. She never spoke of her missions, but her students learned quickly. Silence can be more powerful than any weapon. Then one day, a new species arrived in Earth's orbit. They came in peace. Their ships were simple. Their message was short. "We know what you did," they said. "We do not come to fight. We come to listen." The human alliance welcomed them. The galaxy had changed, and Earth had changed with it. No longer weak, no longer new. Now a shadow in the stars, a quiet warning written across history. Do not test humanity.